Praktikum basis data lanjut. Bab 7. Handling exception. Tujuan belajar yaitu define PLSQL exception, recognize unhandled exception, list and use different type of PLSQL exception handler, trap unanticipated error, describe the effect of exception propagation in nested block, customize PLSQL exception message, handling exception with PLSQL. An exception is an identifier in PLSQL that is raised during exception. How is it raised? An Oracle error occurs. You raise it explicitly. How do you handle it? Trap it with a handler. Propagate it to the calling environment. There are trap the exception and propagate the exception. Trap the exception. There are exception is raised and exception is trapped. In propagate the exception, there are exception is raised, exception is not trapped, and exception propagate to calling environment. Exception type. There are predefined Oracle server and non-predefined Oracle server is implicitly raised and user-defined is explicitly raised. Trapping exception. Syntax is exception when exception 1 or exception 2, then statement 1, statement 2. When exception 3 or exception 4, then statement 1 and statement 2. When others than statement 1, statement 2. The exception keywords are exception handling section. Several exception handlers are allowed. Only one handler is processed before leaving the block. When other is the last clause. Trapping predefined Oracle server error. Reference the standard name in the exception handling routine. Sample predefined exception. No data found, too many rows, invalid cursor, 0 divide, the following index. Predefined exception. Syntax is begin exception when no data found, then statement 1, statement 2, when too many rows, then statement 1, when others, then statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and trapping non-predefined Oracle server error. There are declare and then to associate and then reference. There are declaration section and exception handling section. Name the exception, code the pragma exception init, handle the raised exception. Non-predefined error. Trap for Oracle server error number and integrity constraint violation. Define p that no is then declare em remaining exception, pragma exception init, ems remaining min2292. Begin delete from department where department ID p that no commit exception when ems remaining, then dbms output line can remove that to char p that no employees exist and SQL code. Return the numeric value for the error code. SQL ERM. Return the message associated with the error number. Example. Declare v error code number v error message varchar begin exception when other than rollback V error code is SQL code. V error message is SQLM. Insert into errors values V error code, V error message, and trapping user-defined exception. There are declare to the race and then reference. There are declaration section is named the exception. Raise their executable section is explicitly raise the exception by using the raise statement. Reference exception handling section is handle the raise exception. Example: define P department desk is information technology. Define P department number is 300. Declare invalid department exception. Begin update department. Set department name P department desk. Where department ID is P department number is SQL not found then. Raise invalid department, and if commit exception when invalid department, then the BMS output put line no search department ID. There are user defined exception is invalid department exception is number 1, and number 2 is raise invalid department, and number 3 is invalid department. Calling it environment. ASQL plus display error number and message to screen. Producer builder display error number and message to screen. Oracle developer form access error number and message in a ledger by means of the error code and error text package function. Precompiler application access exception number through the SQLCA data structure and enclosing SQL block trap exception in exception handling routine of enclosing block. Propagation exception. There are sub-block can handle an exception or pass the exception to the enclosing block. The REST application error procedure used in two different places is executable section and exception section. Return error condition to the user in a manner consistent with other Oracle server error. REST application error. Syntax is REST application error. You can use this procedure to issue user-defined error message from store subprogram. You can report error to your application and avoid returning unhandled exception. Executable section. Begin. Delete from employees where manager ID is manager. If SQL not found, then raise application error. Min 20202. This is not a valid manager. And exception section. Exception when no data found, then raise application error. Manager is not a valid employee. And latihan soal. Apakah yang dikerjakan program di atas? Kalau nilai variabel P gaji bernilai 800, 1250, dan 999, hasilnya apa? Jawabannya yaitu program di atas digunakan untuk mencari nama pegawai yang memiliki gaji sesuai yang diinputkan user. P gaji sama dengan 800, gaji dimiliki oleh Smith. P gaji sama dengan 1250, lebih dari satu pegawai punya gaji itu. P gaji sama dengan 999. Tidak ada data. Sekian dan terima kasih.